We are live.
Khaled, wow, we're doing a live podcast.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I'm nervous.
Why?
Because there's a lot of people looking at us. Nobody can see us, though. But
Everyone's friendly. Everyone wants us to succeed, have a
Yeah.
great podcast, inshallah.
all
Or at
these-
least that's what I tell myself.
all these cameras and all these microphones. But Khaled, I'm super excited that we're doing this again.
Excited to be back, man.
Season 2, first episode of Basel Meets.
Love it, man.
Bringing back
Congratulations.
the OG.
I love it, man.
Khaled
I love
Ameri,
it. It's an
you know
honor
what
to
I'm
be
saying?
back, man. It's an honor to be back. And I just want to congratulate you, man, on your
Thank you.
perseverance, on keeping going, on getting messages out there, having great guests, using Facebook as a platform. I see the discussions that we had.
You got to plug it in. Yeah.
Got to do the plug, and I plug it with great honor and pride, man. They've been great for the content that we're trying to produce and putting out
Absolutely.
meaningful stuff out there. So it's just fitting that we're doing this at a Facebook event. You know? So it's
Absolutely.
really cool.
Now, I remember last time we spoke, just after the podcast. So, like, you know, people saw the podcast and everything, but just after the podcast is what people didn't see.
Yeah.
And you hung out with me for the next, like, 10 minutes after the podcast giving me advice
Yeah.
on sort of how to, you know, keep going with this thing.
Yeah.
Don't drop it, you know, utilize the platform to your advantage and so on and so forth. And I have to say, I was super inspired by what you said. So
Thank you.
Not only in video, but also in real life, you just sort of sat with me and gave me that time to sort of like, you know, what to do and how to go for it and so on.
Of course.
And I completely appreciate that, man.
Thank
and
you,
here we are,
man.
season 2,
Yeah, man.
in an open public space here
Yeah,
in
it's
Dubai.
exciting,
Thanks
man.
to Sada Bazahra to
Thank
bring
you.
us down here.
She'll never take credit for anything, Miskina. That's how humble she is. She'll just say, no.
She's got a lot of credit.
Got love for her, man. Really got a lot of love for her, Yani, for what she's doing for creators and giving us the opportunity to share important stories and giving us all the support we need in platforms like this, man. I mean, it wouldn't be possible like without that type of support. I mean, it would be possible, but it would be that much more difficult. Man.
Exactly. It's good to having somebody in the insides.
Alhamdulillah.
Khaled, I want to just, what's been going on, man? I've seen you have a lot of videos that came out over the
Yep.
past few months since we last spoke.
Yep.
And some of the videos you produced have gone, you know, to new heights
Yep.
where, you know, wasn't there 3 or 4 or 5 months ago.
Yep.
And super respect to you. And I've seen
Thank
the
you, man.
Christmas video you put out there the other day.
Yep.
A lot of interactions, a lot of engagement,
Yep.
a lot of support
Alhamdulillah.
as well.
Yeah, that was good to see,
So
man.
how did you feel about that?
About that video specifically? No, I was absolutely honored by it. So the video for those who don't know, it's called "When Muslims Celebrate Christmas," and
Right.
it takes a look at how the UAE, as a Muslim country, you know, I need to use the right terminology here.
Right.
Offers a safe space
Yeah.
for people of other faiths tolerance to practice their religious beliefs and to celebrate their religious moments. And I decided to name the video "When Muslims Celebrate Christmas" because, you know, I just wanted to really get the message out there.
Right.
And I started the video with a mosque in Abu Dhabi that was called the Mary Mother of Jesus Mosque.
Yeah.
Maryam Isa Mosque.
Yeah.
And the mosque was actually, before I believe, named after our crown prince.
Right.
So it wasn't just any mosque. It was the crown prince's mosque who gave the mosque for renaming. And this mosque is surrounded by 4 churches that were all getting ready for their Christmas celebrations. And that is who we are. All right? That is exactly who we are. It wasn't me. I was just taking my camera, going out and telling people what is happening.
Right.
No agenda, no propaganda, just what is going on.
Right. Yeah.
And I wanted to share that with the world. And that is what I believe who we are as Arabs and who we are as Muslims. And look, you know, this in Oman, it's done. I mean, you'll see it in Bahrain. You'll see it in other Khaliji countries, right? In other Arab countries as well. But that is who we are. None of this stuff you see in other media.
Yeah.
All right, that is who we are. That is what we stand for.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that, well, that's what I believe.
Right.
All right? And I think that resonated with people.
Right.
Is for finally to see something just raw,
Absolutely.
real. Not some person standing with a microphone getting cued, just showing people what real, showing the children playing with Santa Claus, showing the Christmas tree in the middle of Abu Dhabi, showing people getting ready in Christian churches that are open, that surround a mosque. Literally, I'm telling you, you can, from each church, it was a 10-second walk from the mosque.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That is who we are.
Yeah.
That is what
absolutely.
we represent.
It's a very cool video, and I think I remember the when I saw it, it was very inspiring.
Thank you.
And it spoke a lot of truth as well, you know. And I think that's part of the things that what makes your videos very inspiring and different than a lot of the content that's put out there today, is that it's cultural, it has a point, and it inspires. Inspires people to react positively, or at least react, and that's very good. I know sometimes you get those negative comments and so on.
No, those came. I mean, there were some people, like, just to be clear, there are people that definitely disagree with that video.
Oh yeah,
that are like, Khaled, you are.
There was some fire.
There's fire. It's always going to come when you're speaking about something that sensitive,
Absolutely.
right? I mean, in the title, and people who just don't want to read beyond the title will think, oh, these are Muslims celebrating Christmas,
right?
And people saying I don't know the true Islam. There was some other, like, some sort of like Muslim figures or religious figures, just to say, who were sort of giving me some backlash. But why? Like, I don't get it. Like, for me, it's like, don't you want people to live in peace? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a certain city where Christians, Muslims, and Jews all lived very peacefully together, and that was sort of like, and throughout history.
Right.
All right, and why don't you want peace, Yani? Why don't you want people to just be able to? And people say like something like, you get your comments where, like, if you tell someone Merry Christmas, all right, as a Muslim, that means you're endorsing the fact that you have those beliefs. I'm thinking, no, I am very comfortable and very strong in my beliefs that I can say Merry Christmas to someone who celebrates Christmas and not necessarily believe that is, because as a Muslim, I have my own faith.
Right. I mean, it's also cultural, right? So it's also you're doing it from a cultural perspective.
Absolutely,
as well,
yeah.
Right? So you're reaching out as a cultural sort of tolerant person, and that's what the point with that's what I took out of the video.
That's the main message.
And that's
tolerance.
And
that is it. One word.
And honestly, I think if somebody sees your video as, sometimes it's tough because some people just see like one piece of content that you put out there, and they don't get what you're trying to do throughout your entire series of videos. And I'm very familiar with what you do, and I've been following you since before the podcast and everything, and that's sort of something that's been happening for the past year. I mean, since you've been doing videos. So I could understand why sometimes people would take it out of context.
Of course,
and,
yeah.
So
that's going to happen. And I'm always prepared for that. I mean, I'm
Absolutely.
always prepared for that. And look, I need to say this. I could be wrong.
Right. And it's
like
fine.
These videos, these videos are very personal. There might be something, I'm by no means a religious scholar.
Right.
I could be wrong, but I'm just trying to look at, like, for me, it makes me happy to know that people feel safe enough in my country to celebrate and practice their faith.
Right.
And I think when everyone's happy, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
and I'm looking at it from a very simplistic perspective. And there could be stuff that I have taken out of context or something I did, but I truly believe that tolerance and happiness is the way to go, no matter what.
And you know what, Khaled? I think the most important thing that came out of that, look, backlash, positive comments, happiness, all that stuff, that's all great. But I think one of the best things that you're doing on your platform is that you're opening it up for conversations.
Yes.
And I go through your comments because sometimes people just put out videos out there and there's not much engagement that's happened in terms of comments. But for you, I could see people who are really passionate, and you could see paragraphs under your videos of people discussing things, and then one guy agrees and the other guy vehemently disagrees and says like, I don't agree with you and whatever. But the beautiful thing is that there's conversation happening under your videos in a tolerant way, in a respectful way, and so on. So hats off to you for that.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And I see that happening with your other videos as well. And that's that's what Facebook and this platform offers us, right?
Conversation.
The conversation.
That's
Connections
like I actually dedicate minimum 1 hour after I've uploaded a video to responding to comments and messages of support.
Absolutely.
That's how much I believe that the Facebook platform relies on sort of the engagement in the conversation. And that's really where the roots are of the platform. And, you know, that's what's important to me going forward. So, yeah, minimum, after I've uploaded 1 hour to just responding. I sit in front of my computer and I respond.
I saw that, and I think that's really awesome. A lot of creators, when they get to the size that you got today, they just stop, you know,
you can't,
with their
man.
audiences. And
The minute you stop, it just... There's some... Look, I mean, someone took time out of their day to write you something...
Because
they felt something, and you're just gonna go. I mean, I always try and look about the real life equivalent to a social interaction. Like, imagine you came up to me and said, "Khaled, really, what you did touched me. It's something special. I wish you all the best. Take care. Much love to you and your family." And I'm just like,
all right, see you.
you know, that's the real life equivalent. And why would you do that? Why would you just? I mean, even if you just said thank you, you know, but you know, he's like, whatever, you know. I mean, just respond and thank people, because here's what you need to understand as a creator and someone who's a full-time creator: is you can't create if people don't care about what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have people who care about you, you can't sustain yourself. So every single one of those people, of those human beings, because a lot of social media, when it comes to these things, it dehumanizes a lot of things. A lot of those human beings are responsible for giving you a opportunity and a career and a chance to support your family.
That's super true. Yeah, that's right.
All right? And they are my most important source of inspiration and of the opportunities that I'm getting today. And I never, ever forget that. And any creator, if you want to mess up or you want to see a downfall, that is your number one thing. Ignore your supporters and people who believe in you.
Right. What do you, you know, let's say there's somebody who wants to sort of like, all right, you know, I see what Khaled's doing. I love what Khaled's doing. And I want to reach to that, you know, I want to get there. I want to get to what's sort of like the thing that Khaled's doing, like doing these videos, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, socially conscious or whatever, but, you know, whatever type of content that people want to put out there. Like, how do you feel about it? How do you feel? Is there room for people to grow right now?
Yeah.
Is there saturation?
No. See, the internet is a big place, man. There is enough room for everyone to eat. That is my number one saying. There's enough room for everyone to make an opportunity. Like, what's your name? Nick?
What's up, Nick?
So, Nick is the awesome guy making this possible.
Behind the camera.
So Nick and I and you will all come to the same event, and we'll see it from 3 very different angles. We'll have 3 very different stories, and we'll have 3 very different experiences. And there will be an audience that will be uninterested in what each of us are saying, and there will be an audience that is interested in what each of us are saying. And they will all be different.
That's right.
And there is enough room for everyone. And that's why I'm saying, like, that's why you have, like, all these people, like, whenever, like, you see social media personalities, vloggers, whatever, they all go to the same place because they're all telling a different story. And that's why I say, like, you can have the same vloggers in the same place at the same time, and they're still all getting the opportunity to tell a story and monetizing it and getting that opportunity. So the one thing is I would say is never think your story is boring.
Right.
Because don't put yourself in the audience. Because if I sit there for 1 hour or 20 minutes a day talking to myself about myself, that is boring. But if I tell one story about how I got to where I am today, or how I went to this new restaurant, to someone who has never been there, they might be interested.
Absolutely.
And they might share that.
Absolutely.
And other people will see it. So never, like, it's easy for us to bring our own selves down in terms of our story. So that's one. The second thing is be ready to work your butt off, man. Like, I have gone 61 days straight, daily vlog. And it'll kill me at some point. It'll be the death of me.
We're having fun doing it, right?
I love it.
Yeah,
but it is exhausting.
Right.
Like, I'm sometimes up till 3 a.m. editing, and then I got to be up at 7:30 for an event.
Absolutely.
And it's every day. Every single day, because I believe that videos like the Christmas video, videos like the Skype video, videos like the We Hated Our Wedding video, videos like the What Happens Without a Mother video, they wouldn't have been possible if I wasn't challenging myself every day to find a meaningful story. And I always tell this to any creator or any agency that I work with, and when they ask why I daily vlog, is because it's the baseball analogy, right? So if you sit with a bat and you've never played baseball in your life, what is the greatest likelihood of you getting a home run? Swinging every time or swinging once a week?
Right.
Swinging every time. You'll get better. You will get faster. You will get stronger. Your coordination, your hand-eye coordination will improve. Your abilities will improve, and hence the number of home runs that you hit will improve.
That's so right.
So that is what I've been doing, and I know that some days I won't have much, and I'll need to pull something out of somewhere.
It's tough though, like with vlogs. I mean, it's tough because you have to
Yeah.
come up with an idea on a daily basis. Like what I'm doing here, like I'm leveraging you and people like you
Yeah.
to sort of get my content, right? We're having a conversation.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't need to think about, all right, so what kind of vlog do I need to come up with tomorrow in order to get my audiences interested? So it must be very tough for you to come up with like an idea every single day.
I try and have like 10 stories that I want to tell. See, the difference between that I believe with me vlogging on Facebook versus me vlogging on YouTube is, like the YouTube vlog is very
carefully.
Yeah, treading very carefully. So sort of like what I've noticed is like, with me, I have a very so my Facebook vlogs are short, snappy, to the point. I don't need to beat around the bush and extend my videos 20 minutes for ad revenue or stuff like that. Yeah. So I have a point. Like maybe tomorrow I want to talk about the importance of date night in a marriage, for example. I can do that in a minute with some B-roll and stuff. And I don't need to have the whole nearly died on a plane, and that's like 10 seconds of turbulence on a flight from Dubai to, Jeddah. and everything else is just me.
Clickbait.
Yeah. So mine is like I feel there's depth in my content. So, I mean, I don't think it's hard for me to find an important thing I want to talk about on a certain day.
Right.
24 hours, 1 minute, it's not that much. It takes me about 4 or 5 hours to do the video. But in terms of coming up with an idea to say in like, anywhere between a minute to 2 minutes, it's not as hard as you think, especially someone, I believe, like storytelling is what I was born to do.
Right. And you are great at it.
Thank you.
One question that I had that came up actually after our podcast, our first podcast, and if nobody watched that podcast, go back into the page and watch that podcast. Super inspiring guy right here.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
A lot of questions that came out after that podcast and after my other podcast with Zahra Leila, who is also a fashion blogger.
Yeah.
Almost 100,000 followers on Instagram. A lot of people ask me about monetization, and they're like, how do these creators and what people often refer to as influencers monetize their channels in a way that's sustainable and in a way that helps them, make a consistent living out of these things, and these questions came from fellow creators. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my wife being one of them, she, Sunnyside Day plug on Instagram. She's got about like 20,000 followers. And same thing. She's asked me like, I wonder how, these guys monetize continuously and consistently for them to have this as a life.
Yeah. So for me, the one thing is like, in addition to creating the vlogs, I do a portfolio of work. Like, so I'm a digital ambassador. So for Abu Dhabi Islamic Bank, the plug. At Islamic Bank, check them out. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Yo, Basel meets.
Best bank in the world.
Abu Dhabi Islamic.
Gotta believe it. Yeah, that's what we do, man.
Money.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
They're a great bank to work with. Very creative. Have given me a lot of opportunities. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
So I've been working with them for almost 1.5 years now as their digital ambassador. It's been a lot of fun.
Amazing. Yeah, I've seen a lot of that stuff on your Instagram.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. And so that's one way. So being an ambassador, but aligning your values with the values of a brand and a strong brand and sort of like staying with them. Like I could like now I could never work with another bank. Like that's my bank. I banked with them for 10 years before. So that's one. I do a lot of hosting of events.
Okay.
So that's another way of...
That's right. You do a lot of that.
A lot of hosting of events. I do... obviously, you do some product placement, working with brands on sort of ads and stuff like that. And with brands that you believe in. And again, this might go against the grain, but you can't do that too often. Like you can't work with 4 different water companies, 3 milk companies, 6 burger joints. You just dilute yourself. People forget what you stand for, and you become an advertising board.
That's absolutely right.
So I think working, growing yourself, aligning yourself with certain values that attract certain brands, and sometimes just going out and saying, guys, I love you. I'd love to work with you. Here are some ideas. Like the humility that you have to have in this industry. You're basically going to a company and saying, pay me for this.
I
need to earn a living. So you have to be humble, and you have to get yourself in a place where you feel that you can add value, and they see that your values are aligned with theirs. And that's what sort of stemmed from the Adib thing. A lot of the content that I do is around, raising awareness for Arabs and Muslims, family, love, marriage, fatherhood, just being funny in what I believe is a sorry, excuse me. Is being funny in a way that's not rude.
Right. No, I understand that. Yeah.
And so if you align yourself like that, opportunities will come. But like for me, whenever someone says, "How do you monetize?" the first thing I do is I look at their pages. Like, what are you doing to put yourself out there? And if I see someone posting once a week and not putting much effort, I'm like, well, you're never going to get those opportunities. It's you need to grow here to get the opportunities there. So for me, I always say, focus on your own content, grow, build, understand your audience, work with them, grow, and then the opportunities will always come. Something will come. It may not be what you want. You might not get that Nike deal, but you'll get, a smaller sports brand.
Maybe, you never know.
Yeah.
No, it's so do you advise how many days or how many times a week do you think people should be posting?
See, it depends on what they're posting, what they're doing. When you look at all the vloggers that have made it big, regardless of what you think of their content.
Yeah.
Regardless. So I'm putting that out there now. Whatever names I plug, it's regardless of their content. I'm looking at their strategy here. So if you look at, Casey Neistat, if you look at the Paul brothers, there's a lot of controversy around there.
Yep.
If you look at even some of the local guys like Mo Vlogs, those are daily guys.
Right, yeah.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that they're daily and they're bigger.
Right.
Casey Neistat even goes back and says, I think in 2000 and can't remember the year, 2014, on his birthday, he said he was going to create a vlog every day. And he did that for 2 years or something like that.
Yeah.
And his growth just went through the roof.
That's really good advice, man.
So I'm just taking that, and I have seen a significant change in my growth trajectory. You will grow, but the trajectory has shifted completely since I went daily.
Really?
No doubt. No doubt.
I'm cutting this podcast down into 3 episodes and putting it daily.
Why not?
Yeah,
Why not? Why can't you go and why can't you say one day's going to be podcast day? I'm going to do 5 podcasts, and they're going to go out through every day. Just be smart about it.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and I think and I don't want people to pressure themselves. You know what I mean?
No. It's not for everyone.
Once a week. That's how I started. Once a week, and then it was twice a week, and then 3 times a week. And then I started cutting down the podcast to 3 or 4 videos. And I think that's one thing I did with your video was cutting it down to about 3 or 4 minutes per episode. And it really did well.
Get a title. Yeah, no.
It really did well.
It is, you will get support, and people will appreciate it. The audience will be standing by, waiting for your next video. And the thing is, you will change.
Absolutely.
Your mind shift will change. Now I've got my
you're
camera ready. I'm ready to go. What's up, man? I got my camera ready. I'm ready to go. I'm shooting everything. I get home and I try and make sense of it all. I upload the next day. That is my day. That is I'm just capturing what I can, and then at night I try and make sense, add some context to everything, and it goes up. And it becomes easier. It becomes more natural.
Right.
Like I said, you grow.
Second nature.
Yeah, exactly.
I think for you.
Exactly.
Khaled, I know you got other things you got to do in this event today.
Got a panel and stuff.
And we got another podcast coming up, hopefully.
Punny Pun Times, right?
Pun Times.
Yeah, they're really funny, man. They're really good
funny.
stuff. Yeah, very funny. I don't know where the name comes from.
I
I don't want to say anything. I'm not saying anything.
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah. Let them explain it. If there's any backlash, they can take it. No, I'm just joking. No, they're a great group. Really funny, really humble. Amazing work ethic. I sat with them, and that work ethic is just something that I really look for in people. And like, no matter what you're doing, whether it's social media or not, I think if you have a strong work ethic and humility, you're gonna go places.
And you know what, Khaled? I said it to you before, and I say it again. You're a very inspiring person.
Thank
and I
you,
think
man.
the stuff that you're doing, whether you know the effect of it right now or not, but I think it's changing perceptions. It's changing the way people interact with each other, and it's changing points of view. So, really awesome stuff, man.
Thank
and
you,
will
brother.
always have a place in this podcast.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man.
And
Good luck with everything.
Every single time somebody asks me about this podcast, I say, you know what? Khaled Ameri did not have to do it. He had thousands and thousands of followers, and he never asked me once, how many followers do you have before he got on the podcast?
Dude.
So I super appreciate that, man.
Dude, please.
Super authentic on
Thank
screen
you.
and in real life.
Thank you, man.
Super authentic guy,
I need to
man.
say something is anyone who does that, man, like, remember where you started. Like, anyone who I did not get here alone. I've been plugged a couple times by very inspiring people who did not need to support me. They just did it out of the good of their heart.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be where I am today without them.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to name names because I don't know if they'd be comfortable with it, but everyone has had a plug sometimes. Because if you're starting with zero, who are you talking to?
Right.
It's
Me,
until someone,
my wife, couple of guys.
Everyone needed support, and anyone who does that, and I'm saying it, shame on them. Really, is shame on them. We grow as a community when we support each other, and as a society when we do. And I think we're getting the cue.
Thank you so much,
Much love, man.
man.
Thank you so
Absolutely,
much.
brother.
Good luck
Thank you
with
so
everything,
much.
bro.
Thank you.